Oh, what's weird about this song is, like, the music itself and the lyrics were written at two, like, entirely different times. I think the song, if I remember correctly, I wrote in my freshman year of college in just like 10 minutes, which is odd, like, considering, a few of the other songs I've written in just like chunks. And as far as the lyrics go, they started out kind of personal, but now they've, like, turned into more, commercial and audience appropriate lyrics. If I remember correctly, I had written this right around the time of the shooting, freshman year at Northern, and I was kind of in a situation that, I was like in a real, like, uncertain situation. I was in a dorm. I had, like, a roommate that, I didn't really like and everything. He did, a bunch of drugs, and, there were only a couple guys on the floor that I really hung out with at that time, and, the place itself was kind of run down, in my opinion, and, like, I was, like, just unsure of, like, a bunch of things, basically, and then, like, after that whole thing happened, I didn't really know whether or not I wanted, like, to keep going, to Northern. I actually contemplated dropping out and going to, like, a different school for a while. I just, I didn't know if I really fit in, and, I kind of missed, all my, like, music friends from high school, and, nobody I really hung out with was as into it as I was. And then, of course, the next year, then I moved into an apartment with one of my good friends from high school who went there and stayed in another dorm that year. And once I started hanging out with him and, like, all those guys a lot more, I began to enjoy it plenty. And, I guess, it's just, like, like, one of those unfortunate experiences that, that you just kind of draw from, and, you look back on now, and it's like, wow, that was, I was real uncertain about plenty of things back then, and who knows, because, definitely by, the second year I enjoyed myself a lot more. The classes were even more interesting. The people I hung out with were a lot nicer. The apartment was great. My roommate, he was a lot of fun, and I really came along based on that. So, it was just one of those things. It was one of those personal things that, got a good song out of me. So, some things are like that, good or bad, I suppose. So, and I wouldn't even, and as far as, like, I don't know, the way I, like, play it now, I was a little hesitant at first about playing it, because it was more of a personal song, but then, as, after, like, recording it and adding in the harmonies and realizing how commercial it sounds and how, like, receptive the audience regularly was at every show I played it at, I realized, alright, this is, like, it's gone from, like, being far more personal to, just more commercial and fun, and plus, that whole thing happened so long ago that, I wouldn't even, like, remember it quite as much. Nowadays, at least while playing it, it's kind of just more of a song, like one of the many I've written, so it's a lot of fun. And it's, it's probably overall, like, one of my favorite songs, to play live, one I could really get into, one I could really, rouse the audience with. It's really turned around and everything from where it was originally at, and nowadays it's just a lot of fun, so it's like,